It is Friday, the 14th of August 2026. It is 3:48 a.m. and I am currently in London, England. I can't sleep. And this is the pilot episode. Welcome to voice notes I send to myself. I can't sleep. I can't sleep. I can't sleep. This is what is happening. And I just had a coffee, which was not a great decision, but my brain is like, find a solution. How? Do this, do that. Try a business, and you have so much information out there. Dropshipping, Amazon FBA, this course, this thing, that thing. And the thing is, I don't have the brain capacity to focus on something. And obviously you don't understand. Obviously you cannot understand. How could you understand what it's like to never had a life? Never had a life. Your entire life was about surviving things you were not even aware of. You didn't have a childhood, you didn't have parents, you didn't have anything except, you didn't have anything except surviving and games since you were born, not the games you want to play. What is more concerning is that now that you are aware that they were not even your real parents, which to be honest is making a little more sense. At least it's not, your real parents who tried and still are trying to break you. And you have to understand that in some cases, not every single time, but in some cases, you have this fake family who, according to your understanding of what happened, literally sold you to cults, covens, or hidden societies. It doesn't really matter to whom. Those people in your experience did black magic on you for years, if not since you were born. Therefore, you were blocked your entire life, and you didn't even know it was because of this. And you were not aware of it. Obviously, you were in the dark. Those people tried so hard to keep you in a scarcity mindset. They did black magic on your finances, on your beauty, on every single thing they could. And you have to focus because obviously you don't have brain damage from a life where you never lived. And so the point of this, now bear with me because it's not even, I have a show for this, you can go and follow based on my story on Spotify and YouTube where I'm going to explain things like narcissistic abuse, coercive control, trafficking tactics, and everything in between. This is more about voice notes I send to myself. Because, I have to talk to myself, right? It's been 6 years now that I have been isolated against my will, moved to another country and isolated against my will. The entire situation was decided for me as if I was nothing, certainly not a human being. And so my point, because again, bear with me, I do have a point for this pilot. So, I have been posting, and I kind of enjoyed it because I would say this is me. Since November, I have been relentlessly posting on Thread. And I have built a community that I am grateful for. And I have on my feed some thread from some people, motivational speakers if you will, entrepreneurs / motivational speakers. And you know what is funny? I don't understand. I just don't understand why it is that because you are a successful entrepreneur and because you made money, then what? then you are supposed to be a motivational speaker, and I don't think there is necessarily a connection between those two things. You can absolutely be both, of course you can, but being successful in business and knowing how to make money does not automatically mean that you are a motivational speaker. Those are different skills, different areas of expertise. You can be an incredible entrepreneur and teach people how to build businesses because you have actually built businesses. But that doesn't automatically mean that you understand motivation, human behavior, trauma, or every person's circumstances. And I don't think there is necessarily a truthful connection between I am a successful entrepreneur and I am therefore a motivational speaker. I do believe you can be both. I just don't think one automatically makes you the other. And I am digressing. This is not the point. The point is I do have some people in the spotlight, if you will, on my For You page. And I am seeing a lot of thread from, for instance, Gary Vee, and it's not even that I disagree, it's again, I do have a point. So you have this man who I believe, correct me if I am wrong, said that he had a childhood, right? That he had a mother, that his mother was amazing. And I believe he said this one. To be honest, I don't really recall. I do believe I am quite accurate. You do not understand. You do not understand because you had a childhood, because you had a support system, because you had an amazing mother. You can't understand, and therefore if you can't understand, it is not that you are to blame, but your audience is not, I am not your audience. So when you are speaking, you are not speaking to me. And I hope you know this. You are not speaking to me and people like me, and vice versa. I do not know. I don't know what it's like to have an amazing mother. I don't know what it's like to have a great childhood. Therefore, my audience is not people who are these people. People who had an amazing childhood, and there is no perfect childhood. But we do understand each other on this point, I believe. And so when I am seeing lines from him, and it's like, oh, but you are not going to stay in the past, which is, by the way, a very common thing to say. It's not just him. But you can't stay in the past. You can't be like, oh, but all of these years, yes, you can, because again, you don't understand. Because no one robbed you of your life. So you can't understand what it is. You just don't get it. And I am saying this, and I wish I was exaggerating, but I am not. And I am saying that I have never had a life. You don't understand, and it's not just you, it's so many other people, because you didn't have to go through it. Thank God you didn't have to. So yeah, you are not going to change the past. But if you are willing, you and people who are thinking alike, if you are willing to understand what it's like to never had a life, because some people, a fake family, it doesn't even matter who, but you were basically, in the worst case scenario, you were sold at birth, aka trafficked as an infant. So basically you are just nothing, you are just a piece of not even furniture, because you take care of a piece of furniture more than I was looked after, because obviously I was not looked after. But again, not the point. In this type of scenario, you are not a human being. You were a thing that was exploited your entire life. Therefore, not only do you have brain damage, but you are asking for help to get yourself out of this situation, for you to not be in fight or flight, for you to not be in survival mode, so you can actually focus. And again, I know you don't get it because you are going to call this an excuse, but thank God, actually. You know what? Thank God you are calling this an excuse. Because you will never understand And honestly, I am grateful to God that some people will never understand what it's like. And if you are willing to understand, you can ask people who actually know what prolonged trauma can do to the brain, because this is the part people don't seem to understand. When you have been living in survival mode for years, when you are constantly in fight or flight or in a freeze response, your brain is not sitting there thinking, okay, let's learn a new skill. Your brain is thinking, are we safe? What is happening? How do I get out? What is going to happen next? And that matters because attention is not about discipline. Learning is not about wanting something badly enough. Your brain needs cognitive resources to focus, hold information in working memory, plan, switch between tasks, and actually learn something new. And when so much of this mental energy is being used to monitor danger, manage stress, anticipate what might happen next, or simply try to feel safe, there is less available for everything else. So when I say I can't focus, I don't mean I don't want to focus. I don't mean I am lazy, and I don't mean I need to try harder. My brain is basically saying no. No, I am not learning a new skill right now. Why? Because I don't feel safe. I want out. I want to get out of this environment. I want to move. I want safety, I want stability, and until I feel safe enough, my brain is going to prioritize survival over learning. That is what I am trying to explain, and this is why for me it is not ADHD. I don't have ADHD. Could there be other things involved? Maybe. Could there be neurodivergence involved? Possibly. But what I am experiencing here is not me suddenly becoming incapable of focusing because I am lazy or because I don't have discipline. It is what happens when your brain has spent so long prioritizing survival. It is almost like my brain is saying, why would I learn this skill? Why would I sit here and build a business? We are not safe. Get us out first. Get us out first. And honestly, that makes sense. Because if your brain perceives that you are still living in an unsafe environment, why would it prioritize becoming an expert at Amazon FBA? Why would it prioritize learning a new business model? Why would it prioritize anything other than how do I get out? How do I become safe? How do I survive another day? That is the part people don't see. From the outside, they see someone who can't focus. Someone who starts something and doesn't finish it. Someone who keeps changing direction. Someone who says, I want to build this, I want to do that, and then they say, you just need discipline. No. Maybe I need safety. Maybe I need my brain to finally understand that I am safe enough to stop surviving and start building. And that is a completely different conversation I believe some of you are not ready to have. I don't think the problem is that I don't want a future. I think the problem is that I have spent so much of my life trying to survive the present that my brain has not had the luxury of fully building one. And this is not me inventing something again. You can go do your research, ask people who know what it's like. Anyway, it's not even upsetting. But because I am very much on thread, and because I am seeing this type of things, not just from him, but again, it's just on my For You page, so it is right in front of my eyes. I just hope you know that I am not your audience, and I will never be your audience, me and people like me. And I am not just one person, they are a lot of people like me. You are not talking to me when you are like, oh, but you can't talk about the years you've lost. And if you are 25, you are still a baby? Yes, but no. I mean, yes, for your audience, for people like you, for people who grew up quite normally, who had parents, who had a childhood, who were not treated as worse than stray dogs. Worst. Okay? Yeah. I just hope you know that. And I know that some people are going to relate to this voice note that I send to myself. Anyway, I will see you I will see you. Maybe I am not the only one talking to myself at 3:48 in the morning. Maybe you are listening to this at 3:48 in the morning too. And maybe for once you don't have to explain yourself. You can just listen. This was the pilot episode of Voice Note I sent to myself, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye!